Hezbollah is a much more powerful, much more trained, much more deadly force. And the direct tie between Hezbollah and Iran is crystal clear.
It's critical that the U.S. gets Israel what it needs for its Iron Dome system, but it's also going to be critical to get more weaponry. I know we've got the battle the battle crews in the Mediterranean. That's an important deterrent. When you're talking about Hezbollah, I actually think if there wasn't a U.S. engagement, like when President Trump ordered those Tomahawk missiles into Syria, with Hezbollah's involvement, that could be a very necessary addition into what Israel has in its power.
This can quickly turn into, it is quickly turning into, a much more global conflict.
This is the most well-backed terror organization, governing body, whatever you want to call Hezbollah, in the world as a paramilitary group. I have friends who have been in the IDF who were in the last ground combat war with Hezbollah. They are much more sophisticated than Hamas. And we saw that Hamas has become much more sophisticated because of training with Hezbollah.
Everyone is really deeply concerned about the potential for Hezbollah out of Lebanon from the north to get involved in this war. If Hezbollah, in a significant way, opens up a second front war, where we're worried about invasion from the north, at that point in time, I think it's obviously up to the president, but my vote would be for the United States to enter militarily on behalf of Israel.
The Lebanese government needs to know that there could be serious ramification for its people if Hezbollah enters this, and Israel must respond. But I do know, Dad, and I want to underscore it, because I had a very good friend who was in the IDF who went to the last war where Israel went into Lebanon. It was extremely brutal, extremely brutal on both sides. A lot of carnage.
Joining us on the phone is Consul General from Israel, Israel Bakar.
If Hezbollah is getting into the fight, it's not anymore the fight of Israel to win this war. It's going to be basically the war of a civic nation, democratic nations to come and help us to win against these Nazis on the northern border.
The thing that hasn't happened yet, and I fear for this, is the West Bank imploding. And if it implodes, here's what happens. Those terrorists from the Palestinian Authority and Hamas in the West Bank, that's the Jerusalem side. Let's get the map up. And that side, what happens is they send in terrorists that start bombing bus stations, buses, restaurants. That's the kind of terrorism you could see coming in from the West Bank.
A two-front war that could become easily a three-front war, depending on what happens with Syria and some of those areas of the Golan Heights. We need to really pressure the U.S. allies like Egypt to keep terrorists from crossing into Gaza or using the Sinai to launch attacks on Israel.